Now, it's difficult. You want to read about the judges, but it still goes to if you paint to try to impress the judge and not you paint for yourself, that just never works. But it's also very nice to kind of get a sense of who is doing the judging and the work that they do. It does make sense to me to look for that. But having said that, you really have to do your own journey and paint for yourself. And also, when it's hard to put work into a jury show. So, as an example, I could use myself as an example. I go ballistic when I do competitions. It's really bad. I will submit the work, I will dance around it, I can't leave it, I've learned over the years that I fill out the forms beforehand and I do not look at them because I get there and I could decide that the price is too high or the price is too low, the title is wrong or the title is right, and that's all. You're not going to do, that doesn't do you any favors. So I make sure I have all the paperwork filled out in terms of what I'm submitting, what the prices are, and that's all connected to the work. And it's clearly done because it is an emotional roller coaster when you bring your work in to be judged. If you get into the show, fabulous. If you get rejected from the show, fabulous. You have tried, you put something in, you're starting the process. And doesn't mean the work that is rejected is bad. It just means it's not fitting the criteria of that particular one or the particular judges or whatever. Putting your work into a juried show is an experience. It's a growing experience, and I think really you gain a lot. Even if your work is rejected, you still gain a great deal from the experience of it. And there's nothing that says that you can't come back and ask one of the judges to give a little critique of your work, to talk to you a little bit about it. That's a huge, huge leap into working towards a competition, is really understanding presentation. KOSA has a nice, you're going to be talking to Barb and whatnot about a really nice set of rules that are clear in terms of how you submit your work. And in the rules that are put out, they do have, they tell you the criteria of what you need to meet in order to submit your work. It's simply, talking about having the D rings versus having a hook in the center, the difference between that, and how the importance of the D rings and properly ready to hang. That's a big and important piece of showcasing work. So all of those that we'll be talking about. I'm looking to give each piece its due respect, and that means that I need to look at each piece. But in looking at each piece, the pieces might be badly presented just because you've got a room full of stuff, and you could have a really strong chroma, bright something or other, and a very soft, gentle something beside it, and one drowns out the other completely. So each piece needs to sort of be isolated from the others and seen on its own, in its own respect. Yeah, so you kind of start with everybody being given a lot of time, and every piece being given a lot of time. And then you kind of play it a bit, and you try to revisit every piece at least another time, maybe even 2 or 3 times, as you sort of sort through what you have to judge, because you're also looking for a show. So there will be a winner, there will be winners, there will be honorable mentions, but there also is made the show. So you are looking to put together a show, and that's vitally important too. But the first thing is to look at each piece individually, and to look at each piece standing more or less on its own without the influence of other pieces around it, so that you can start to look at the qualities and the good stuff within each piece.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Chisamore, and I was the first place winner of the Juried Exhibition in 2020 at Kingston School of Art. It was pretty exciting. I wasn't expecting it at all. So that was like a really nice surprise, and I wasn't expecting that one, because I was kind of thinking like it was a bit darker, and it's one of those paintings when I show it to people, people kind of step back, kind of like, ooh. But yeah, and I brought up a lot of emotion in me. So it's kind of vulnerable when you submit work to be seen at all, and to be seen in under judgment, curatorial kind of spectrum. But yeah, it was really nice, and especially the work was amazing and very. There's a lot of variety, I find, in this Kingston School of Art in general. Seriously painting, probably since 2005. Most of the time I did portraiture, right from 2005. I started drawing at first, and then starting oil painting. Yeah, and did some training and went all that stuff, and yeah, so basically, and then I got into landscapes as well, more recently. So I was doing oil painting landscapes, and then the past year I've been experimenting with watercolor and making paint out of plants, like natural pigments. Yeah, so the painting I submitted that won the prize was called Believe, and it was a portrait of a woman in kind of a dark room, and her face was illuminated. It was an oil painting, and she was opening kind of those little snowflakes that you make as a kid with paper. But in between, she opened it, it says Believe. And the picture is kind of dark. It has a shadow figure behind her, so it's almost like there's this element of the shadow self. Or when I was actually painting the painting, I was going through a difficult time in my life, and it was kind of, I had this vision of this piece, and it was kind of telling me that I still believed, like, yeah, it feels like an artist-run center in Toronto, like it has that vibe where it's welcoming, and it's not too, you don't feel, yeah, it's very welcoming. You don't feel like you're not allowed to come in, and yeah, it's just very, yeah, it's beautiful. Like, I don't know, it's nice and lit, and it's nice that you can just come from downtown as well. I like that about it. It's definitely one of the spaces in Kingston that is probably most approachable for a lot of artists, like emerging or advanced artists, like everything. So when I won, they called me, and then I came and picked up the prize, and they had this little ribbon, which is so cute. And then they gave you some papers of all the judges' feedback, which was really good as well. And not just like, oh, you did a great job, but also criticism. And so it gave you room to reflect and to grow. And so I think that's also kind of reinforcing that idea of like a studio, shared community kind of space, right? To get that feedback from other professional artists, yeah.